Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition, maybe another episode of Interesting Ideas. We're in the business of helping you become more interesting. You'd like that. Well, interesting people are interested in others. That will make you more interesting. But then that you're just kind of full of new ideas about what's happening, what's going on, and you are always learning. Well, today we're going to learn something that I think will maybe inspire you, or at least find a way to live a little bit better by taking some time to go to an ancient institution, the city park. Joy, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here to talk to you today.
Well, I've told you before, and I'll tell you again for the audience. When my special needs grandson comes from New York City to visit Grandma and Grandpa in North Carolina, when he comes up into our house, well, of course, the first thing he says is, "Hey, what you got for me, Grandpa?" And then he says, "Can we go to the park?" Because he knows that he can go to the park, and he loves the park here in Cary, North Carolina.
I'm so glad to hear that. That's great.
Well, you are the director of it, and so I'm going to ask you this question. How did a nice woman like you get into the parking business?
Oh, it's a long story. I'll tell you the short version.
All right,
I
thank
have
you.
been working for the town of Cary for 23 years now.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I was working, I had been laid off from my job that I had had in publishing for 10 years, and I was looking for another source of income. And I was working with a youth choir at the time, and I was trying to write a thank you note to the town for some space they had given to this choir. And I was explaining to the person that I called that I was looking for a job, and he said, "Well, I have this temporary position. Why don't you come and do this for a little while you're looking?" And I never left. So, but I've been able to do a lot of things here at the town. I've been doing, I was their event planner and festival coordinator for about 13 years. And then I transitioned over and opened the Cary Theater, which is down on Chatham Street.
Yes.
Did that for about 6 years. And then this opportunity presented itself to me to come and open this park. And I thought, you know what? If I don't do it, I will regret it forever, because it was going to be, I knew it was going to be a big challenge. And it took all of my outdoor experience and my indoor experience and kind of mushed them together into one big package. And that's kind of how I ended up here. And
Well,
it's exciting.
well, first, let me get a little more background. As I said, this is in the town of Cary, and Cary, North Carolina is a nice place to live, isn't it?
It's lovely. Yes, absolutely.
We came from Arizona. We came to Cary because it kind of had to, and it turned out to be one of the wonderful places. My wife's definition of Cary is, remember when you see those little towns in the Hallmark movies? Cary is kind of a real Hallmark town. And it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's quite a compliment. I mean, I think, when I moved here, there were 40,000 people. Now that we're close to probably 187,000. I don't know the exact number, but it's quite a large growth. But I think the underlying bedrock and the values of Hallmark town or smaller town kind of remain here, even though Cary is really experiencing some really amazing growth and expansion. But it's really a lovely place to live.
And they've been very conscious of keeping that idea that it's not the city of Cary, it's the town of Cary.
Well, we just call it Cary now.
That's right.
Cary.
Just Cary.
Just Cary, yes, because
That works.
it's interesting when you sort of teeter between what is a town, what is a city, and we just decided we weren't going to define it. We're just Cary.
Just Cary. Love
Yes.
that. That's right. Well, now tell us, how did the idea of this beautiful park And it really is. You'll tell a little bit more. I wish you could. This is the radio, so we'll have to give some picture
Yeah.
imaginations. When they decided to make, and it's an investment, that they were really going to build a world-class park, how did that happen? And then describe what happened.
Well, it depends on when you start the timeline. The genesis of the idea for the park was really 24 years ago. The plot of land that the park stands on never was developed in the interior. It was only developed around the exterior, and through a series of staff looking at it, and then the town center area plan, and then all kinds of different master plannings that were going on, it was determined this would be a great place, for recreation of some sort, a park, that kind of thing. It kind of starts out, this is just would be good. So 24 years ago, the town began buying up the properties as they became available, and when they would buy up a house or whatever was on there, they would remove it so that, that was like an indication of we're moving somewhere. And then throughout that 20-year period, they bought all the property. And then they opened up the first phase of the park in 2016, which was 1 acre up at the corner of Academy and Kildare Farm Road, where the fountain is. So there was the fountain, and then a lawn area and a small stage area, just 1 acre. And then the additional 6 acres was kind of in the future. So once the first acre opened, that we call it phase one, they started doing a master planning in probably 2017. So there was a master planning phase. They did something really interesting where they put out a national call for landscape architecture firms, and invited several of them down to see Cary and then to make a proposal, and then chose this firm, and then the firm began doing the master planning and the community outreach for the park. And one of the interesting, fun things is that this firm is called OJB. They're out of Boston. They said they had never seen the type of community engagement for any project they had done in the country as they saw here, because there were surveys and meetings and all kinds of stuff. But they said we've just never seen, it's unprecedented. So throughout the master plan, they kind of decided they presented a plan to the town council, said this is what we want to build, and the council signed off on it. And then the process of actually figuring out how to build it happens. And I came in when it was in 50% design phase, which means it was 50% of the actual plans were built, which was really good for me to come in at that point, because I could look at the plans from an operational perspective and say, that's really pretty, but that's not going to work. uh,
That's what
you know,
remember, you always need somebody who is a little bit of a curmudgeon to say, beautiful, wonderful, you're brilliant, but it might
exactly.
not work.
Exactly. And I was able to, start laying the operational foundations during that process. And then once you finish and they've decided this is what we're going to build, we have a set of plans, then the whole construction phase starts. And that's a whole different set of constant meetings, and oh, we need to change that, or we need to change that. And even through the construction process, there's iterations and adjustments. So it was a really fun project to be process to see. The construction piece was fascinating to me. And during the whole construction phase, there's the fences up, and you have a few staff members, and it's kind of like your own personal little thing. You can go behind the fence with your hard hat, and it was really special. And then the day came when we took the fence down, and everybody was welcome in. It was exciting.
Yeah. Well, now describe a few things. Again, please use your imagination. Describe a few things that make this park, as you will experience, it's worth a trip here. What makes it unique about
Uh,
city parks today?
well, I think one of the things that makes it certainly in Cary, it's our first what we call urban park, because it is done in a more urban style, in that there are things like a dog play area. We have a large water feature, which is actually a stormwater pond, and is
Yeah.
an adaptive solution to some flooding issues in this area. But it's for us, it's an amenity and beautiful. We have food and beverage that's different than any park that we've had. And then we have, the amount of things that we have to think about on a daily basis about removing trash and hosting events. We're going to host probably close to 1,000 events in our very first year here at the
Wow,
park.
1,000 events are
Yes,
that's incredible.
and that's a big difference. Cary has an amazing award-winning park system, and this is just another addition to that park system in a different way. It's programmed on a daily basis. We're actively pursuing, making this active and bringing in people and offering things for them on a absolute regular basis. Whereas a lot of the other parks in our system are a little more passive, not all of them at all, but we're just approaching it in a different manner.
As I said, one of the things about my little grandson, and well, we discovered he's special needs, and some of the things are difficult for him to kind of understand about certain things. But what he really loved was how much it isn't just going to the park and watching things. It
Right.
was becoming involved in things,
Hmm.
and I remember him saying, Grandpa, I'm going to go down that big slide.
I'm
And I
glad.
said,
That's
Oh,
great.
you have to be pretty brave to do that. And he said, I'll be brave, Grandpa. And down he went, and zip, he went right back up.
Yeah, no, it's so fun. Kids, they don't have any fear. And, the whole nest area, we call it the children's play area, we call it the nest. And I call
Okay.
it the young at heart play area. So, it's an area where kids can really be imaginative with their play,
Mhm.
and it's not as prescribed as some other places might be. When you see a swing, you know what you're supposed to do with it. And one of the things that we had hoped for was that kids could make up their own kind of um, things to play with. Now, they sometimes make up things that you don't want them to be doing, but it's always fun to see them out there. And really, it's interesting that you mentioned that your grandson is special needs, because we have just put something up that we're very proud of out in the nest area. It's a communication board. And what it is this very large board that has all these pictures on it that says maybe like bathroom or sad or rest, so that any person that's nonverbal can point to the pictures and communicate with their caregiver in a different way. So we're very excited about this.
It's
This
a
is a
wonderful idea.
Yeah, we're very excited. I think this might be the first one we have in Cary. There are a few that in our park system. I think there's another one at a school, but there's some in Wake Forest too. So we're very excited about that and really expanding our accessibility services for so that everybody feels welcome here.
One of the things that it has struck me is not only, as I said, the things that I've mentioned, but I also found out that the staffing obviously must have been changed because these are people who are really park people, aren't they? This is
Yes.
this let's just face it. A lot of people who are in government service, it's a job. But very much these young men and women, and not so young men and women, this is a little bit more of a mission and a cause for them, not just a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, it really is. And I think we can say that across all of our parks department employees for all of the parks department. But we were very intentional because the staffing plan is a little bit different for this park because of the type of park it is, and the people that we chose and the mix of the staff that we got. But that is one of the things that we strive for every day is how can we make if you're a patron here, how can we make that a good experience for you? And just striving for that excellence every day. And I see it, in the small things that people are doing. I have a facilities manager, and he every time we go out to walk the park, he's picking up trash, which is exactly what we want. We want this place to be clean because if it's clean, that's going to make people feel safer. And not only so there's all these little things that we can do that contribute to the whole and to the betterment of the experience.
And it is an experience. I would just encourage you if you ever get into our area, but tell them now they can see a lot of it on a website or a web stage. If people
Yeah,
want to start seeing some pictures of what you have created, can you
absolutely.
give us some ideas of where we can go to maybe see you
You don't need to see
and
me.
and some of your staff? Some
Sure.
read
Yeah.
the resumes of some of these staff, and they're creative people. People, these are artists, aren't they? Many of them. They're not just
Yes, they are. We have very talented staff. There's a lot of people that do lots of extracurriculars that are creative. And the first place I would send people is to our website, which is downtowncarypark.com. We also have a really robust social media presence, which we have Twitter or X. I'm not sure what you should call it now. Facebook and Instagram, which is you can sign up and see on this Downtown Cary Park or DT Cary Park to find it. And we have a lot of fun with our social media. We do fun things like recreate scenes from the movies that are coming up to promote them. And so there's a lot of fun things that we do, not only just to tell people what's going on, but to kind of it's our voice. It's the voice of the park.
the
We also
voice
have a
of the
monthly
park. That's a good way
newsletter.
of putting it, right?
Yeah,
The park has a voice.
it does
It
have a
talks.
voice. It has a personality too.
That's right. It does.
Uh, we have a monthly newsletter that you can sign up for that is on our website. And many times we release information to our newsletter subscribers in advance of the general public. So that's a little teaser to get it. So we have lots of things, lots of ways for people to see what's going on and to check us out and figure out, hey, do I want to check this out? And then our calendar of events is on our website, so you can see all the different things that you want to do. If you want to come and do yoga and get fit, you can do that, or come and hear a concert, and it's lots of opportunities.
And so many of those opportunities are free. Now, I say somebody always pays for things that are free, but for the people who come, the generous people and the generous people of the city have made an experience that you can take a lot of your kids, and it's not going to cost you Disneyland prices.
Well, that was intentional. That was
That's
an
right.
intentional thing that we chose to do, was to make that we do have some workshops that have a fee. Sometimes there's a list of supplies you need, or sometimes if we're doing something like a bourbon tasting, there needs to be a fee attached to it.
Right.
But the vast majority are free. We want to welcome everybody into the park, and just for it to be a place that it is fun and enjoyable. Now, for us, and for the town, it's really an economic development engine that has spurred a lot of economic development, especially in the downtown area, which we're very proud of. We could see that happening even before the park opened, and we believe that it's only going to continue.
In many cases around the country, people are having their downtowns starting to deteriorate.
Yes.
And I would really, if you're in that situation and you're starting to have things beginning to happen in your community, one of the best ways to revitalize it might be to take the risk of putting together an old fashioned but very, very modern and new city park. And so I would really encourage you, if that's kind of who you are, or if you're in leadership of a small community, I would very much encourage you to understand that Joy and her team have some of the answers, perhaps, for how you can begin to redevelop your town.
Yeah.
I
It's all
really
about
mean that, Joy.
placemaking.
Yeah.
It's really about placemaking.
Yep. Well, once again, give people the way they can reach you or the city or the town
Yeah.
and find out more about it.
Downtowncarypark.com. All of our contact information is on there. So if you need to talk to us or ask us questions, you can do that. And that's the best place to go.
It's a place to go, and then it's a place to come to. And we hope to see you in Cary, right downtown Cary. Go to the library, go other places. It's all there, but it's a beautiful experience. And bring your children, no matter what their needs are.
That's right.
There will be something there for them. Thank you very much for your time together.
Thank you.